let's go on a little adventure, or maybe a really big one. You'll be able to hear in the background the sound of rain. And something really interesting has actually just happened. It's a synchronicity, definitely, but I'm sheltered by the trees, and it is absolutely, it's one of my favorite phrases. It's absolutely bucketing it down with rain, proper English downpour. And so do you see, my dear viewers and friends, what I do for you in the name of spreading joy and good Samaritanism? Because the original story was that I was supposed to go on a date today, and this morning I texted the chap saying, looking forward to seeing you, meeting here at XYZ. And a few hours later, he texted me back to say, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, which is code for, look, I know, Martin, I know that you're a really nice guy, and it'll be really, really good time, but it's not the right thing for him. Maybe he's anxious or scared or frightened or, a little bit apathetic about it. I mean, who really knows? But do you know what? I do get it. And it can... people have ideas in their head of what they think they might want, but when the reality actually comes, people just don't want to follow through with it. And at the moment, I'm exploring paradigms, and I will come to what's literally just happened, this lovely serendipitous and synchronicitous event. Carl Jung would be very proud of me using all of these terms, in the flow of life. But what I'm looking at is the hidden meanings and the hidden reasons for actually behaving in particular ways. And I'm really getting the idea of commitment to things, because I will admit, by no means, it sounds like I am, but I'm not judging the guy for being a no-show, because it's frightening out there, and the world it can feel very superficial at times, and it can be hard to find purpose and meaning and positivity in things. But I was determined this time that I was going to follow through. I was going to stick with the plan, to make a date. We go out on dates, but the thing is, you set a time and a place to meet with somebody in the hope that, it will enhance your life. And a lot of things do. Sometimes things don't work out as you expected, but it's all absolutely fine. What you're looking to do is to develop character traits. And there was part of me, because it is absolutely tipping it down, it's really, really heavy rain, and my jeans, I don't know if you could see, but my jeans are soaking wet, and I find it really stimulating. I actually really, really like it, because it makes everything so lush and abundant and plentiful. But I was walking along a path just over in that direction over there, as I do practically every single day, because I love walking over this way. I've mentioned Chatsworth a lot of times, but it's my dream of happiness place to go. I love it. And I was just walking along the path, and I was sheltering. Most of the path is exposed to the elements, but there are big trees along certain stretches. So I was huddling myself, walking along underneath there. And I saw something. It looked like a phone case. So I picked it up, thinking it was just going to be empty, but somebody's phone was in it. And these two ladies, I was walking this way, these two ladies were walking that way. And I said, well, excuse me, what's the best thing to do? I found somebody's phone, because, in ordinary situations you would know, but because it doesn't really happen very often, it kind of takes you by surprise. So I said, what's the best thing to do? And they said, there'll be the emergency contact details on it. So this woman swiped up, and we found the telephone number, call in case of emergency person that we all hear about and fill in the information. And finally, that information becomes really, really useful. And that, talking about dates, things may seem completely irrelevant to you for weeks, months, years, decades, and then suddenly it will come into full effect and full force and full power, and it will become useful, you see? which is why commitment is a really important thing. So I got my phone out and I called the lady who was the call in case of emergency number, and it was her husband's phone. And the thing is, now as I record this, it's all the transaction has taken place, and the two ladies that were walking back in the general direction of the village met this lady at the car park that's at this side of the village and handed the phone back to her, and the Good Samaritans saved the day. And can you imagine can you imagine just how relieved the husband must be that he doesn't have to fuck around and get a new phone and, you know, cancel direct debits and have to find people's numbers again. All of that has been saved, you see. But there's another point here, I mean a wider point, that keep these things. Keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open. To be honest, I'm very curious, but I think part of my conditioning is actually scanning for threats. I've done it a lot. And the thing is, there's always a silver lining, you know? You can throw out, you can delegate the responsibility of all of the negative stuff to the universe. The universe will take care of that stuff for you, you know, because the universe and God will put the things in their proper places, you know. But the truth is that when you keep looking around the world and you're curious and fascinated and inquisitive, you'll notice things that other people don't. And I think a lot of the reason I've not been able to have many friends is because I ask questions and I am curious and I want to know the meaning. And I think a lot of people that I've known, and I've never intended it to be this way, but a lot of people have actually taken my questioning. It happened with my ex-boyfriend a lot. Take my questioning as kind of as an attack, you know, that I can never settle. But this is my character, this is my nature. And the thing is, without wanting to cast aspersions on people, those two women who were walking the other way would not have noticed the phone. They weren't in the right place, they were on the other side of the path. And it's not a criticism, but the thing is, I love exploring the world. And this is idea at the beginning, the height of this video, top of this video rather, I was talking about going on a little adventure, you know. I am so relieved for that man. I can't tell you. I'm so relieved for him, you know. And all it took was me to see something, pick up the phone, and then, you know, the universe goes to its plan. And I will admit that part of me, now this is a big confession, a big part of me sort of, as I was walking away, thought, oh, well, you know, I would have liked to have gone and met the lady with her husband and handed the phone back myself and take the credit for it. But I actually saw it as a big win in the correct direction, in the right direction of shedding the ego. Everybody in the world actually has their part to play. That everybody is here for a particular reason, and in many occasions, many times, those purposes and those paths will cross. And the thing is, I'm really glad, because I'm actually really glad to be recording this video here in these lovely surroundings. You know, it's very joyful to me. But I did have that little twang, so I wanted to take credit, I wanted to go and hand the phone back. It did happen in my mind, and I thought, no, it's all perfectly placed, because the ladies in question were walking in that direction anyway. I got to come here to this lovely spot on my fantastic walk. Learn to accept things as they are. A big mistake, and again, I whenever I talk about him, I always say, you know, it's almost like confession. that I say, oh, I haven't spoken about my boyfriend for a while. But one of the big problems that I actually encountered with him was that I deified him. I idealized him in my mind, a version of him that he wasn't. You know, people talk about being in love or loving somebody, but most people, they haven't met. They haven't actually met each other. They want that other person to fulfill a need, to satisfy something for them. It's not the way to treat things. You have to treat things. One of the greatest lessons that I learned in my philosophy degree, Immanuel Kant said, don't treat things as a means to an end. Treat things as ends in themselves. Which is basically a fancy way of saying, live in reality. Don't conceptualize and idealize and deify and immortalize people in your head. Treat things as they are, love them and let them go, and acknowledge the positive role that you've played in whatever situation. So learn to be yourself and learn to treat people as they are, because we can get very, very attached to ideas of we should be doing this or he ought to do that. Don't box people in, and most importantly, do not box yourself in. Allow yourself to do good in the world, and then release it. Let the universe experience the glory, because in me finding that phone, in picking up that phone and then asking those ladies for help, good collaboration, teamwork, that's a huge amount of joy that is being cast out into the ether. It's so positive, you see, and the ego wants to triumph and say, oh yeah, that was me. No, it was a collaboration. It was a really positive event, and those ladies will feel good and the wife will feel good, and we've exchanged a couple of messages. It's all really, really positive. And that's where the adventure really lies, in knowing that through one tiny, tiny, tiny little find, it creates multiple times more joy and freedom for everybody involved. So thank you very much for listening. Do the like and subscribe thing and share to spread this very important message. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Ciao for now.